Hey, welcome back to Rob Laquan Auto and Sport. This is a part two of the video I posted yesterday, which is my initial impressions for the Apollo Explorer electric scooter. I'm just going to hold the camera this time and walk around the unit and talk about some things and some impressions I have. Um, again, briefly, I'm an amateur. Actually, that's an overstatement. I'm very new to scootering. I'm a car guy, automotive enthusiast, but I like speed, motion, adrenaline, the whole thing. Listen, this is something that is pretty cool too. If you can't be on four wheels and a certain loved one in your household will never let you get a motorcycle, this is, I guess, the next best thing to zip around. But really, for those of you that are enthusiasts or technologically savvy, this is the latest iteration in electric power and how it moves you with these really high-power lithium batteries. So it's impressive and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to talk about a couple features on this that maybe help you if you're shopping and so forth. So a little bit about build quality first. Looking at the LED lighting I spoke about, there's this nice light here that helps you be seen by other riders or folks on the road, just others as you're moving. So it doesn't really give you illumination out in front of you that much, but it signals you to other. I'm going to show you guys also in a minute. I'll turn it on. But there's an LED right there. It's more like your headlight. And then you have these airplane wing-like lights on the side. These are all LEDs. Then the yellow dot LEDs that usually signify a higher quality LED bulb with significant lumens. And then you have the ones in the back that are brake lights. So let me go. I'm going to show you guys the brake rotors in a minute. But let me go ahead and turn it on. Actually, it's already on. Hold down the mode button for a few seconds, and then your lights come on. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to shut the light off, and now you can see what it looks like. So anyway, you get the idea that you can be seen. You're not obviously going to see the way these things illuminate the road necessarily in front of you from this video. It's obviously it's enough light to get yourself home if you need to, if you're out, but it's not going to give you the raw throw power of a dedicated light like this. This type of unit is something you buy aftermarket. This one happens to be sold by Apollo. It's about $50. It's excellent. The build quality is sort of iPhone-like, very sleek casement. Feels expensive, and the lighting quality is it's extremely bright, and it has that focused angled beam that gives you the throw that you need to go out 15, 20 feet ahead of your scooter. And it has 3 levels of brightness and a couple flash modes. So highly recommend this. If you're going to do night riding, you're going to want to put some sort of aftermarket light like that on, like most bike riders would. But generally speaking, they did a really nifty Miami Vice type-like job making this thing attractive and sexy for nighttime riding. So credit to Apollo for that. So moving on, I just wanted to show you guys the fit and finish. Hold the camera up to the components because look at the thickness of that rotor. It's not your typical mountain bike rotor. It's got a greater thickness to it, so it's essentially got the heat dissipating properties that you need with that caliper and pad in there to really slow the scooter down, and its front and rear discs too. These are substantial, and that's important because you don't want these warping. It's an expensive scooter, and you want to have it to be smooth and fade free basically. So it has the large heat sinks properties. It's a sizable rotor, you can tell. I mean, it's almost 60% of the diameter of the entire wheel tire setup. So this thing's designed to get you down to a stop from 30 miles an hour if you need to, repeatedly, I would suspect. Although I haven't tested it, I will when the weather gets warmer, and I'll report back on that. The deck, this is what I was talking about. You'll see bubbles in the grip tape. There's some right there by the Apollo sign. This was a problem for me. There's a bubble. They should take care of this on their end, so hopefully that's something that they work out over time. But in terms of its operation, its functionality, it's fantastic. It really grips your feet in place. This is a very high friction material, and I mean, it's stuck down very well. I don't foresee that this is going to start peeling. It's a good quality grip tape. It's just that for some reason in the shiny areas they weren't able to get a machine or a human being that could do their job properly and get that seated so you don't have those bubbles. It kind of ruins the super overall fit and finish of the bike, of the scooter, sorry. And I think they could fix that. You can see some of the bubbles like that. But again, in terms of functionality, I completely trust it. I've ridden the scooter for a few days, and my feet just don't slide or move at all, regardless of bumps or anything like that, at either any speed. So one thing to be aware of is this rear fender. Other folks have talked about it. It kind of floats loosely. I think it bothers everybody intuitively, but I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that the reason they did this is not because it was a lapse in judgment or they forgot to tie this down, is that they're trying to remind you through sending signals to your brain never to use your back foot to step on this like you do on some of the other children's scooters. If this was fixed and it was tight, people would probably think that it was engineered to be stepped on, and they would proceed to step on it and then quickly break it. You're not supposed to use this. This is not part of your riding experience. So this is just basically to prevent rainwater from flying up around the wheel through centrifugal force and whipping into your body. It's basically a rain fender. It doesn't scrape the wheel. It's got clearance. It floats a little bit. But again, I think that's a reminder so you don't step on it. It's not annoying. You don't notice it. It doesn't rattle while you drive. You will never notice it other than just playing with it. It'll annoy you. But leave it alone. You don't need to tweak that. You step on the deck with both feet at all times. What else here? The suspension. Very impressive suspension. I mean, if that doesn't look race car-like or Porsche-like, with the suspension components going directly lateral into the chassis, with the dampening capability going essentially at a straight, at no angle from, actually it's a right angle, 90 degrees from the forces in the wheel. They go right angle right into the chassis, so that's an impressive setup. Bottoms out a little bit easily, but not when you're driving at speed. It's very stable. Even when you're doing a full 30 miles an hour, it's not really compressing. But as soon as you hit any type of bump, there is a lot of flex in the chassis, and that's good. I would argue that it could be a little stiffer, but then that might make the bumps a little bit more jarring. But again, I'll reserve some of those fine-tuning comments and some of those ride experience comments when I'm actually doing honest-to-God road testing. But for now, I talked about that light before, but I have this one too. I want to tell you guys what this is because I saw it on someone else's video and I loved it, and I bought it and I love it even more. It's a Psycholite Hot Rod 110. So if you go on Amazon, I don't know these guys. I'm so new at this. You can trust me. I have no horse in the race here. I'll just talk about stuff I really like when I like it. This Psycholite Hot Rod 110 is fantastic. I mean, it is the brightest LED bulb I've ever seen. It has flash mode, steady state. It's a dispersion LED light, so those of you who don't really know LED lights very well, they're extremely bright when you look at them, but don't be fooled. That doesn't mean they necessarily light up your road any brighter because the beam is dispersed as opposed to focused. You know, headlights tend to have lens technology inside that focuses any sort of lumens into one spot to give you illumination in a certain zone. The wide dispersion LEDs like this are basically so people see you, not so you can see them. Obviously, if you put this on in your driveway, it'll light up everything in your driveway, but at a very small amount because it's not focused. But I don't want to get too far off topic here. But in terms of other people seeing you, I mean, this is a strobe light that can be seen for 6 miles. I mean, I'm making that up, but literally, when it flashes or it's on, it's blinding to others. So in terms of a safety tool to keep you visible, it's excellent. Again, if you're looking for a headlight to ride at night, you need something with real beams like this. This is also LED. It's also yellow dot brightness and so forth. So 100. Don't know the lumens on this one, but it's on their website. This one is 110 lumens, and it's an honest-to-God 110 lumens. It really is. It's fantastic. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I like to keep my videos under 10 minutes if at all possible, and can't wait for some warmer weather, and I'll do some riding impressions. Until then, take care.